David Fincher's 11th directed film, Mank, hits Netflix this Friday, so let's talk about it. 1930s Hollywood is a re-evaluated through the eyes of scathing wit and alcoholic screenwriter Herman J. Mankiewicz as he races to finish Citizen Kane. Welcome back, everybody, to my channel. If you guys love to watch movies like I do, you guys are in the right spot. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below and click that notification for more up and coming videos. David Fincher is officially back after his last film from 2014, Gone Girl. We've been missing David Fincher, and so this is a bit of a different film for him. This is a film based on a true story. He's done that before, but this is a black and white film set in the 1930s and 1940s. So it's very different from him, but it definitely does feel like David Fincher, and I really enjoyed Mank. This is based on Herman Mankiewicz, Mank, as he writes Citizen Kane from his bedside. I think you have to have a certain appreciation for Citizen Kane or even the 1930s and 1940s films to really appreciate this movie. I don't think the average moviegoer will find things that they truly love about Mank. I think it's a movie that hardcore film lovers will enjoy. The average person who's just going to turn on Netflix and watch Mank, I think they're going to be put off by the movie, because it does have a lot of dialogue and a lot of research going into Orson Welles and Citizen Kane and Herman Mankiewicz around that time, leading up to Mank writing Citizen Kane. If you don't like black and white films, if you don't like films from the 1930s or 1940s, you might not even care for this movie. But I was really invested in Mank from the beginning of the movie. I was leaned back in my recliner watching the film, and then just within the first few minutes, I leaned forward and I sat there for the longest time, just invested in everything. A lot of movies that try to have it feel like it's the 1930s and 1940s, they really just don't hit it. And it's an attempt at trying to have it look like it's the 1930s, an older film. That's not the case for Mank. This really does feel like it's a film from the 1930s. The way that the dialogue is edited, the way that the film is presented, and even some of the little effects here and there, it feels like it's a film from the 1930s. I don't even really try to clean up the audio at times. Some of it's a little bit muffled, and I thought that's a nice little touch to make you really feel like you are watching a film from that time period. And I was absolutely in love with that. From the costume designs to the choice to have it black and white and the audio, this is a technical masterpiece, one of his best looking films. And I love all the little edits and little tricks they did to make it feel like that. And even the dialogue and some of the acting too seems like it was the way that people in the 1930s would talk. For the older films, it feels like it's just like that. Now this movie bounces around from the current time in the movie where he is writing Mank, and then it goes to flashback. It leads up to him writing the film. At first it was a little bit jarring, the flashbacks, and you kind of had to get adjusted to it because it kind of bounced around. The easiest way to tell that it was current time, that he was injured and he was in bed, it happened a little bit too quickly in the beginning, and I had to readjust myself to think, okay, this is a flashback, this is not a flashback, this scene's important, but it's a flashback. Now we're going back to here, he's in bed, writing Citizen Kane, then we're jumping back and forth. I think once it got to the middle half of the movie, it became a little bit more smoother and you were able to really understand it. This film definitely would benefit from a second watch because there is so many different characters and so many different facts being thrown at you that you may miss certain things or it may just go over your head. But the second time that you watch it, you're able to really sit down and piece together certain characters and events within the movie. Gary Oldman is Mank in the film, and he gives an Oscar-worthy performance. He is so good in here. This is really about Mank finding himself as a screenwriter, what works, what doesn't work. And he is an alcoholic in the film and a bit of a socialist as well. Gary Oldman is a fantastic actor in general, but here he gives a really good performance. He gets lost in the role as Mank. You can easily tell the difference for the character in the flashback moments to the current time as well. He's a bit more chaotic and a loose cannon when it's the current time he's writing Citizen Kane. And we see some calmer moments for the characters in the flashback, but still little hints of him being an alcoholic throughout those flashback scenes. We also have Amanda Seyfried. Lily Collins is in the movie. I really liked Tom Burke as Orson Welles. We got a few moments of him in the beginning and the end of the movie, but I think there is some really good moments between him and Mank within the movie. The glamour, the glitz, and the old Hollywood is what I really loved about this movie. I'm so fascinated with that time period and films around that time, and I'm always catching myself wanting to learn more about that. And I think this is the perfect movie to really give you some information about the making of Citizen Kane and Herman Mankiewicz and Hollywood around that time as well. If you are interested in that time period and movies around that time and black and white films, I think you absolutely will love Mank. It definitely does feel like a David Fincher film. I love the snappy dialogue. I love the choice. I love the choice to have it black and white. I love that there's a lot of scenes where people are just talking and there's not a lot of editing. That's one of my favorite styles of directing. David Fincher is such a good director, from Fight Club, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Gone Girl, Social Network. He has impressed us so many times with his film. Not Alien 3, not that one, but everything else is really, really good. I can easily see this being a top contender for the Oscars next year, especially Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Screenplay. There's so many things that could go with this movie for the Oscars, and I can't wait to see what it does next year, and it being, and possibly being the first film on a streaming service to win Best Picture. Of the films that I have seen that are considered Oscar contenders, this is one of the best ones I have seen so far. So definitely check out Mank if you love Citizen Kane. If you love old Hollywood and you love black and white films, love David Fincher, I think you will be really impressed with this movie. I'm gonna go ahead and give Mank an A. Thank you guys for checking my review for Mank. Make sure to check it out when it hits Netflix December 4th. If you guys have seen it by chance, what do you think about it? Let me know in the comment section down below, and stay tuned for more up and coming Netflix content. My name is Justin Watches Movies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.